everybody. Welcome to TADTalk once again. It's Thursday here in Phoenix. It's 11 o'clock in the morning, and it is already 114 degrees.
Celsius.
What?
Celsius.
Yeah, it's a bit hot.
It is very warm.
Yeah, Nick's my co-host today. We're going to have a tremendous show. We've got a wonderful guest. Now, this is going to be a really interesting show, but who is Michael Hanrahan? Watch this video.
I was on the Queen Mary 2 travelling from Dubai to India, and I heard on Sky News that Queen Elizabeth was going to come to Ireland, a historic first visit of Her Majesty to Ireland. And immediately I realised this is a huge historic occasion, and I got the idea. I was teaching painting, I'm an artist. I'd like to paint some of the scenes when she comes to Ireland. So I wrote to Buckingham Palace, and I wrote to the British ambassador in Dublin, and I got an email from the Department of Foreign Affairs 3 days before the Queen arrived, telling me that there were 1,200 journalists appointed for the visit and one artist, and I was going to be the artist. So I was thrilled with that and went to Dublin, and all the official photographs were being downloaded to my telephone, my mobile phone. I was able to work from some of the studies, and I did 10 paintings of the visit. The Queen has one, Mary McAleese has another, a third one, Princess Anne in London has it, and it was auctioned in the Grosvenor House, and the rest of the paintings were sold in White's Art Auction House and also in Christie's in London. I wrote to the Queen afterwards, and I told her that I was the artist and maybe she'd like to have one of the paintings. I never thought in my life that she'd reply to me, but she did. And the following August, I was invited to Buckingham Palace with my family, and we went over there and had a wonderful, wonderful day. And that was the first painting. It was the Queen and Mary McAleese in the Garden of Remembrance. I was quite nervous, nearly as nervous as I am now.
Wow. Can you imagine?
It gets even better than that. Welcome our guest, Michael Hanrahan. Michael, how are you?
Good morning. Good morning from Lahinch, County Clare, Ireland. Lovely to be on the show. Thank you.
It's great to have you on here. County Clare, what's the temperature there right now?
It's about 14 degrees and it's raining and wind. It's on the Atlantic coast, County Clare.
Right.
So we get rough weather, but we get some sunshine as well.
Yeah, so that's about 58 degrees. That's not bad.
Oh, so that's not Fahrenheit.
No.
Not 14 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, good.
Not cold. Well, it's great having you on the show, Michael. I can't wait to hear your artwork is sensational, but I think the stories are going to match that. But as we always do on TADTalk, I hand it over to my partner in crime over here, who starts with his 3 random quick-fire questions for you.
All right. So, Michael, first question I have for you today is, what is your fondest childhood memory?
Well, I suppose when I finished school, I decided I was going to work in a bank, and I had an interview. My mum brought me to Dublin, bought me a suit, and I went in for an interview, looked pretty smart, got the job, and then I spent 38 years working in a bank. So it's a kind of a special memory for me.
That is awesome.
Wow, 38 years working in a bank, and you've got that talent painting. Crazy.
That's awesome.
What's your favorite childhood memory?
I don't have one.
No, I didn't think
so. No, there's too many to. Maybe the first time I stepped into Disney, when I could, actually take it in and remember it, and being with you and Mom was just incredible.
Absolutely.
All right, second question, Michael. What career would you never like to attempt?
I would hate to be a dentist. I spent a few months this year out in Portugal having some dental treatment. It all worked very, very well, but I just couldn't believe, to have that type of a career. I wouldn't like it, working in people's mouths.
No.
very small time when I was a kid, I wanted to be a dentist.
Yeah,
and then I wisened up and became a musician instead. So there you go.
Yeah.
What about you?
Me?
Yeah.
I would not like to be a ball boy at Anfield, Liverpool Football Club. I would not want that job. I actually wouldn't want any job within about 2 miles of that venue. That's it.
Tell us how you really feel.
Yeah, exactly. As you can see, Michael, I am not a Liverpool supporter, but we'll get into that.
Okay.
And I would have to say a septic tank cleaner for me personally, but I would not like to pursue that.
No.
But third and final, I love asking this question because we always get hilarious answers, so I can't wait to hear yours, Michael. What's going on with my hair, by the way? Look at this. There, we have a little poof going on here today.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, we'll get back to that as well. But third question, Michael, is the Earth is flooding. You are tasked to go the route of Noah and build an ark where you will house 2 of every animal. The problem is you built the ark a bit too small and you have to sacrifice a species. Which animal are you leaving behind?
I have no difficulty in answering that question. The one animal that I hate is a jellyfish. They would not be on the ark.
No.
Well, if the Earth is flooding, you'd think they'd just be under the water anyway, right?
There we is, but yeah, you can still leave them behind you.
Fair enough. Actually,
I won't take them. I won't have them.
If you wanted to get rid of the jellyfish, probably the better idea is to have them on the ark and get them away from the water.
Yeah.
Because that would, that's kind of a difficult, but I respect that answer. That's true.
Yeah.
That's a good answer. I like that.
Good answers. We learned a little bit more about Michael here today.
That's right.
So your career, well, first of all, I did not know your career was so wide and varied that the first 40 years or so was spent in a bank. While you were in the bank, were you painting at the time? Is it something that came to you early in life or later in life, Michael?
Well, I found when I was at school, one of the things I was pretty good at was drawing, and seemed to do well at that. So I always had an interest in art and painting. But working in a bank, and it's a busy job, I didn't have too much time for that, except maybe 1 or 2 weeks holidays during the summer. I might go on a painting holiday.
Right.
But, that's how it kind of... There was always an inbuilt interest in art for me.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I know there's a big difference between all assets of visual art, drawing, painting, sketching, watercolors. There's such a difference with all of them. And you started as just drawings. When did you pick up a paintbrush for the first time and decide to pursue that area?
In 1970, I did some paintings. The bank actually went on strike, and I came down to County Clare and did a number of paintings. They were hung up in a hotel here, and when I came back a few months later, they were all gone. They were all sold.
Oh, that's good.
So that was a good start. And I went to a few colleges during my time in the bank, to the National College of Art and Design in Dublin and the Burren College in County Clare. So I tried to develop the skills, I suppose.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Interesting.
Yeah.
We're both musicians, creative, entertain, and so on. But for me personally, I mean, I cannot draw paint to save my life, Michael. I mean, nothing. It's terrible, really. If I try to put my thoughts onto a piece of it, my handwriting's illegible, and I just can't. I cannot transfer that. And yet, I'm creative in most other areas. So I don't know if it's a different part of the brain that does that. Are you musical as well, or is it all strictly the?
I play guitar a little bit when I'm allowed. I come from a musical family. But I have a brother, and he tells me to stick to the paintbrushes, and he'll play the music. But I do believe that everybody can paint. And on the cruise lines, where I spent a lot of time teaching watercolor painting,
right,
people would come in and they'd say, I can't draw a straight line. And I would say, well, we won't be doing any straight lines, so forget about that concern. It's shapes, and it's mixing colors. And people can... I've yet to find anybody who cannot paint.
Really?
In some sense, absolutely, yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I think I'm going to take
I suppose if you have an interest in it, Terry, it's the main thing, you know. And if you like looking at paintings and going to art galleries and watching looking at some of the masterpieces, that's how you learn, I think.
Interesting, yeah. I know whenever I've attempted to, I guess, interpret what I'm looking at, what I think is going to come out on the paper. I mean, I once drew a picture of Henry VIII, and the teacher asked me why I was drawing a pumpkin pie. And it looked nothing like a person. So, but maybe I'll take the Michael Hanrahan Painting 101 lesson and see how far down that gets me.
I have a question really quick.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's many artists that everyone knows, household names, Picasso, Da Vinci, all that. And I'm sure, just like any artistic form, there's many artists and painters that, unless you are in the world of art, you may never have heard of. So it's kind of a two-part question. Of the household names, like Picasso, Da Vinci, and all that, who is your favorite artist? And is there an artist that someone might not know as well that you look at and you just admire their work so greatly?
Well, there's two I would mention. Claude Monet, famous French Impressionist painter. I just love his work. I love the simplicity of it and the effect that he created. And of course, he's known all around the world, and his paintings achieve huge prices. In Ireland, we have many artists, and a number of them come from Northern Ireland. And one very fine artist is a man, unfortunately, he died only a few weeks ago, a man called Cecil Maguire. And he painted in Connemara, and he got the Connemara scenes and the people and the way they lived and the boats and the curraghs, and I admire his work a lot.
Wow. We'll need to find that name and look at his material.
Absolutely, yeah.
On the internet, that would be great. And it's interesting. I've always been intrigued with this, and I've actually never asked an artist, so I'll do it now. I know in the musical sense of art, whenever you're writing a song, for instance, you take inspiration from other artists, whether it be the Beatles or Billy Joel, Elton John, whoever you're a fan of. You take inspiration from how they write and you try to incorporate it in your own work. Is it the same with painting and drawing? You look at the works of others and you study how they did what they did, and then you incorporate it into your own?
I think all artists are inspired in different ways by other artists, and I think that's very true. There's another artist that I like a lot, Arthur Maderson. He paints a lot in France. He's English, but he lives in Ireland, and he's very impressionist as well. So we are inspired by the work of others all the time.
Yeah,
absolutely. And the people who can create light and shade. There's a famous Spanish painter, the master of light, Joaquin Sorolla, and his work is fantastic. You can feel the heat, the sun from his paintings.
Wow.
I'd love to be up as well as he does.
I think all art, whatever it may be, musical, film, painting, I think it's how the product can evoke emotion. You can, if you look at a painting. I know for me, I'm from Manchester, so L.S. Lowry obviously is the one that we all know there, Matchstick Men and Matchstick Cats and Dogs. But when you look, I know for me, remembering my in the early '60s growing up, those paintings take me back to that time. It's something in the way that it's painted that doesn't let me look at something and say, hey, that's a good picture or a good painting. It takes me back to a moment in my life. That's the great thing about it.
Yeah. I suppose another thing is, if you can create a feeling of movement in a painting, you can see nearly the sea moving or the wave crashing. You can nearly hear the painting, you can hear the sound of it. Or I did a painting recently down in Portugal, and it was lovely sunshine, dappled sunshine coming down on a house. And actually, if you walk near it, you nearly feel the heat.
Yeah.
And that's a great effect to achieve.
Absolutely. And I know you've got some very prominent photographs as we were researching the show. Three of the things that jumped right out was Kennedy, was Obama, and was Queen Elizabeth. So maybe let's talk first about President Kennedy. I believe you had quite a famous painting that you painted with his 1963 visit to Cork. Is that right?
That's right. I wrote to Caroline Kennedy, JFK's daughter, and she sent me archival photos from 1963. It's a long time ago now. And she allowed me work from the photographs. And when the paintings were finished, I got in touch with the Kennedy Library. They said, we love the paintings. And I said, would you like to have one? And they picked the one, Kennedy in Cork. So Aer Lingus, which is the Irish national airline, they flew me to Boston, stayed there for a few days, and brought the painting down to the Kennedy Library. And I was brought up to the private family room that JFK had. And the painting was presented to Tom McNaught, who was the chief executive of the Kennedy Library. So that was a very special moment. Absolutely. And Kennedy, of course, his grandparents came from Ireland, and we followed his story, and we were so thrilled when he became the president, and then so shocked when the Dallas took place in November 1963. Yeah. The world and indeed Ireland stopped. So that was a great story to bring a painting to the Kennedy Library.
Absolutely, and I'm sure being an Irishman, a great honor as well. For sure. What about President Obama? Because I saw something, I believe you received a letter from the family, but what was that painting?
President Obama came to Ireland for a very short visit in 2010, May. It was only a 24-hour visit, and he came to Dublin. He made a very good speech in Dublin. It was called the Is Féidir Lín speech in College Green. And he also went to Moneygall, where his ancestors had come from. So I did two paintings, and one of them was presented to the US ambassador in Dublin, and he took it to the White House. And he said to me, Michael, don't be surprised, in a few weeks you might get an acknowledgement or a letter. And I got a beautiful letter signed by both President Obama and Michelle, and a lovely family photograph from them. So that was a special day when that letter arrived from the White House in Washington.
Yeah, he's a very classy president. Did you say the painting was in the White House?
Yeah.
Is it still? Do you know if it's still there?
Well, now I'll have to let you guess on that one.
I can't touch that one. Absolutely.
I don't know. But if you find out, Terry, you might let me know.
Yeah, just give me a second. Just let me fit. Yeah, could you put me through to President Trump, please? I'll try to find out. Of course, the famous visit of Queen Elizabeth to Ireland in 2011, historical in many ways, but you have a great story about your involvement in that. Can you tell us that?
Yeah, well, it started, I was the art lecturer on the Queen Mary 2 cruise liner. I was involved with Compass Speakers in Fort Lauderdale, and they gave me this position of art teacher. So that was in 2010, and since then I've done 16 cruises all around the world. It's been a magnificent journey. But on one of the cruises, we were traveling from Dubai to India, and I heard on Sky News that the Queen was coming to Ireland, first official royal state visit. I got out my pen and paper and I wrote a letter. I posted it from Barcelona. I was to Buckingham Palace. I said, I would love to be the artist for that visit. And the Irish government appointed me the official artist, and I did 10 paintings. Of course, I wrote to Buckingham Palace after the visit to the Queen, and I said, I had 10 paintings done. Perhaps she'd like to have one. I couldn't believe my eyes when she wrote back and said, yes, I would love to have one of those paintings. So the following August, my 3 daughters and myself, we flew to Heathrow Airport. We were collected in a lovely Bentley, and we were brought to the palace. And there was an official handover of the painting. And there was a garden party there that afternoon, so we tucked into the strawberries and cream. And it was a very special day, and to know that one of the paintings is in the Royal Collection. Little did I know that 3 years later, she would request another one. And then in 2016, when she reached her 90th birthday, she saw an image of another painting, and she said she'd like to have that one too. So she has 3 of my paintings. So I'm the only living Irish artist with work in the Royal Collection. And it changed my life, actually.
Wow. I bet. What an honor. It's amazing. And
I do want to mention something as well that we haven't mentioned yet.
Yes.
As always, we have an awesome trivia coming up very soon. Check that out down there. Be sure to type that in when the time comes. And of course, there's going to be prizes, as there always is. You're going to have the chance to win 100 TAD travel bucks, as usual. But also today, on this trivia, we have an incredible prize that you could win if you come first place as well. And Michael is going to tell us all about that right now.
Well, the original painting of the Queen and President Mary McAleese, as I say, is in the Royal Collection. But I have a limited edition print of it, signed by me, the artist. And I have it here.
Wow.
And I would like to donate that as a gift to one of your viewers.
Oh my gosh, that is incredible.
As a prize.
That's incredible. And for those of you watching right now, like he said, limited, very, very limited, to the point where the original is in Buckingham Palace, and the other limited quantities of that is signed by Michael have gone for. Oh, God.
Well, lots of money, right, Michael?
And lots of money, and
a lot of money, and I not being proud, but I suppose they're priceless, really, because the painting will never be done again, and the history of the painting is that's where it is. It's in Buckingham Palace, and Terry, if you want to ask me, is it still there? I can guarantee you it is.
Wow, that's amazing. So when you said the limited editions, and that painting is still in Buckingham Palace, right? Are all 3 there? Is that what you said, Michael?
Yeah, 3 different paintings.
That's great. One second. I'm sorry, my phone's... hold on. I need to get this.
What are you doing?
President Trump, good morning. How are you? Yeah. Oh, it is still there. Okay. Oh, you've moved it into the Oval Office. That's great. Well, I'll let Michael know. Thank you very much. You have a good day. Wear a mask. Bye. Yeah, it's still there. That's great news, isn't it? Who knew?
Yeah, I'm thrilled with that. I'm thrilled. Thank you very much.
Who knew President Trump watches TADTalk? That's very good.
There in November. In November, do you think there might be a change?
What, in the painting or the presidency?
The presidency.
I have no clue. But you know what? If there is a change, I'm going to make sure that painting remains in place.
Okay. Great.
So now that we've talked about that,
yes.
I have a random question that I just came up with, and I want to say it right because I don't want to come off the wrong way about it. But is there any form of visual art that may be looked at as less respected than another, say? Like, is caricatures less respected than full canvas paintings?
Interesting question.
I think so, yeah. I would say so, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, art, it comes in all different forms. forms, landscape painting, portraiture, impressionist, abstract. I suppose I struggle a little bit with some of the abstract paintings. I know they're well admired and all that, but sometimes it's hard to understand what the artist is actually trying to say. I like to keep it simple. I like to portray the beauty of the world, I suppose.
Yeah. As technology continues to move forward, and what you can do with computers these days is a whole new art form in creating 3D and 4D digital imaging, whether it be moving or still, and that whole art form has taken on a whole new meaning as well. Yeah. And I enjoy that type of art form too, because it still takes a creative eye to take the technology and create something that can evoke emotion in somebody.
Yeah, I suppose, Terry, the internet has given us the opportunity and YouTube of tuning into artists from all over the world, and indeed a lot of wonderful painters in Russia as well, famous painters, and I can sit down at home in the evening time and click into some of their work, and also American painters and plein air painting. So it's like being at a university of art from our living room. We see the best in the world. It's like music, isn't it?
Absolutely.
We can watch all different performances.
Definitely.
So, well, like anything.
And we've had a lot of time to do that with COVID-19. We've been at home quite a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, like anything with technology, there's a good and a bad side to it. But I think the good aspect of the internet is just having this wealth of information and access to anything. Where if it's used right, it can really enhance your life. What was you going to say then?
I was just going to say, have you heard of a modern artist called Banksy? Yeah.
I've heard of him, and I've seen some of the work. Can't tell you too much more about him, but I think in the auction houses he makes big prices.
Makes a pretty penny. Have you heard of him?
I have not heard of him, no.
He is
a Banksy. There's another guy called Sean Scully, an Irish London-based artist, and his work is sought after all over the world. And it's very simple type of work, walls and blocks, different colours. Sean Scully, worth looking at.
Absolutely.
If you can buy a good investment too.
I think Banksy, and forgive me if I'm wrong, because I don't know much about him. I just know that he dabbles in all sorts of art, street art sometimes it's canvas art, but I'm pretty sure nobody knows who he is. I'm pretty sure he does it anonymously, and sometimes he kind of cheats the system a bit. He because he almost never sells his work sometimes, and if you can get your hands on one, then it's like, oh my gosh, it's a Banksy. But I'm pretty sure there's a story out there where he painted something and he put it on auction, again anonymously, at some sort of art auction. Somebody bought it for a lot of money, and as soon as they said sold, you heard this mechanism start up, and the painting itself went into the bottom of the frame, and the bottom of a frame was a shredder.
That's right.
Yeah, it was a shredder, and it shredded the painting after this person paid millions of dollars for a Banksy painting. I'm pretty sure that's the story. Forgive me if I'm wrong.
That's the story, yeah. And I don't have any shredding machine here in my studio. I try and frame them if I can.
My art teacher at school actually bought a shredding machine just for my work. It was an automatic. Didn't make it to the desk, just straight to the shredder. Just to remind everyone, the trivia game we're going to play at the end of the show today is tadtrivia.com/Ireland. And You don't need to distinguish between North and South here. It's just Ireland. And you can also scan that QR code. Scan it now. Get it on your smartphone and your tablet. And when the show's over, you'll be able to scan that and play the game. Prizes well worth. Oh, we've lost your face, Nick.
Why do you do this?
Well, I think
to
you
me?
look better to be honest.
I
There you go.
appreciate that.
But scan that code and you can win a wonderful limited edition painting of the Queen in Ireland in 2011, which is I just actually saw on our social wall, which I'll tell you about, our own Beth Shasma there with a picture of herself with holding that painting. But you can win it today, and it'll come direct to you from Michael in Ireland. And you can also win $100 in TAD travel bucks for an upcoming VIP trip when we're traveling. Also, just to let you know about the social wall, which is a hashtag TADTalk. You can tweet, you can Instagram, you can do all those kind of fun things, and you can talk about TADTalk on here.
Absolutely.
And we've got some of our shows, and we've got some other graphic there that shouldn't be there. There you go. But there's a great picture of Michael actually on the.
Well, it's not of Michael.
No,
I don't think.
of the Queen. Yeah,
But it's amazing.
Yeah, that's the photograph of the second painting with the horse-drawn car, the horses,
Wow.
before I brought it into the palace.
Incredible.
I might just mention, Terry, I have a webpage, www.michaelhanrahanartist.com.
Okay.
And my work is also in Lahinch Art Gallery, Lahinch, Lahinch, Lahinch Art Gallery, County Clare.
Well, we'll be posting both of those links on our on this comment thread and on our site too, so you can go there and go and check it out. Some of Michael's artwork is incredible, and post on our social wall. Post your favorite Michael Hanrahan painting on there. I already did. Mine is actually on there. We may not catch it in time. It's just about to disappear, and I don't know which. Can you see that one with the white trilby and the black band there, Michael? With the Queen?
Yeah.
What is that?
That's a man called Pat O'Connell. He runs the fish market in the English market in Cork, and the Queen visited the English market, the fishmonger, and he got so excited. He said, "I'm thrilled Her Majesty has come in." He said, "This is the second most exciting day since my wedding to meet the Queen." So that's the story behind that painting.
No, that's great. It's a great painting. I love it. Also, a thing we do on TADTalk, we like to get into the inner psyche of some of our guests, Michael. And today it's your turn. So we've got these random either-or questions that we're going to ask you, and just give us your first natural reaction. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Okay, Michael, would you rather have whatever you are thinking to appear above your head for everyone to see all the time, or to have absolutely everything that you do live streamed for everyone to see?
No.
Neither one?
I think we all have our secrets.
We do.
And, some of the things we do in life maybe we're not that proud of, and some of the things bring us a bit of success. So
Yeah, I agree.
I think we have a privacy as well.
Yeah, I think I'll go with that too. Okay. Let me see what else I've got in here. Here's one for you. Would you rather your shirts be always 2 sizes too big or 1 size too small?
2 sizes too big.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm the
Definitely.
same. Got to have that room to move around. Last one. This is a very interesting one, okay? Would you rather find... Well, it says $100, but we'll make it €100. If you could find... Would you rather find €100 on the ground or find all your missing socks?
I think I'd go for the €100.
Would you really?
Yeah.
See, I found a solution to the missing sock dilemma. I found on Amazon the perfect sock for me, so I bought 100 pairs. It came heavily discounted, and I got rid of every sock I owned, and I just unpaired everything, and I put 200 socks into a drawer, and now I have 100 pair, and I don't care which 2 I bring out. Makes sense, right?
Absolutely, great idea.
Good solution.
I think I'll do it straight after the show.
Done. Well, this has been a great show. Thanks for joining us. We've learned a lot, and I'm very excited. I can't play you. By the way, anybody who works for TAD Management or TADTalk, you cannot enter the competition for this painting, even though you are all now clamoring to get on that trivia. But it's going to be a limited edition of that famous painting when Queen Elizabeth visited Ireland in 2011. You can win it on TAD Trivia by simply going to tadtrivia.com/Ireland or scanning that QR code, and the trivia will start immediately after the show today. Have you enjoyed it?
Oh, this has been a great one.
It really has. It's been great. We have one final question for you, Michael. And it's a question we like to ask every guest on every show, and it goes like this. If you could spend the next 60 minutes with any two people, it could be dead or alive, historical figures, people you've known, and go with them to one place in the world, who would you like to spend the next hour with? Where are you going to go? And what are you going to talk about?
I suppose I'd like to spend an hour with my late mother and father in Dublin, and I'd like to tell them 20 or 30 years on what's happened, where our lives have taken us. And I think my mother would be particularly interested in the connection with Buckingham Palace, because she was a bit of a royalist herself. And my dad, I think, would love to hear what his 3 sons and 2 daughters did with their lives, and the grandchildren, and how they've grown up and married, etc. So that would be very special to me.
Yeah.
I think it's a good question, and maybe other people come up with something similar.
Yeah, we've had so many answers to that on the show, but it's always very poignant when you go back to Mom and Dad. I actually had the tables turned on me on one show where I became the guest and was asked the question, and got quite emotional when I thought of being able to sit down with them for an hour and say, hey, you know what, this happened after you left. And it would be great to have that. That's that 1 hour. Thanks again, Nick. You guys have been great. We'll see you tomorrow on TAD Talk, and tomorrow is going to be a great show. Tomorrow we've got a phenomenal guest and phenomenal entertainer. Carter Calvert is on the show tomorrow. Don't miss it. Be safe, everybody. Stay safe. Bye.
Bye.